would you mind, Pierre, sharing sort of a, like an abstract or just a high level of what is it that you were communicating in this paper?
Yeah, for sure. It's sort of the concept of being able to connect anything to anything and make this sort of transformation that is required sometimes for the connection to happen. Being able to do that anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So connecting different middle boxes that have different spec sheets, and all of this in the cloud or on premise. And so we sort of dive into that and discuss pricing and what sort of cards and hardware supports these features.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think, and I believe this is what comes through even in the paper, is the role of the transcoder transforming to be, it's interesting you call Nimber Edge a router. um, is a transcoder even starting to become, yes, it still needs to take a file in or a bit stream in. We're talking mostly about live, I think. So,
Yep.
it takes a bit stream in and then it gives you a higher rendition and a medium resolution and maybe a couple different bit rates. And, so there's still that function, right? But do you think that the role of the transcoder is being, rewritten?
Um, the transcoder, like as the file transcoder, I think is still alive and well. But what we're doing is more like an adapter, right? Where we can plug in your European plug to the US plug,
Mm.
right? Where you might have a super modern camera sending HEVC, but you have some middle box somewhere that can only take H.264, for example.
Interesting. And certainly, as you said, Adam made the comment that you work primarily in the broadcast domain with broadcasters. There is a lot of legacy standards still out there.
Yeah.
Hello, MPEG-2 and interlaced.
For sure, just to comment on that, and that's what we're seeing, right? We need to adapt to these legacy standards, but you talk to customers or users, and they're saying, we wanna do this, but they've so heavily invested into a previous technology. So in order for them to move to something new, that step might be very big. So in order to find a way of making that transition a little bit smoother by using this concept of, like Pierre says, like with the adapter, it simplifies their way of moving to towards something that's a little bit more modern and new, and they don't need to go full step and change everything that they did just to adjust it to the new things. They can take it one step at a time, and that's what we're sort of trying to solve with our approach to this.